And then we turn around to our friend, and our friend is completely fucking naked. He is completely naked and holding his hands over his crotch. And I think he had a pair of sunnies on. I think that was it. He had his hand over his crotch, he had a pair of sunnies on, and he's like, so what? We're not jumping on Aaron. And we're like, nah, man, he's done with that. Me and one friend walk up, and like, we are completely clothed, whatever. We walk up and we're just like holding our crotch. Aaron wakes up in a state because you were fuming. Aaron was so mad because he didn't know what was going on, and he actually thought.
I to this day do not like getting woken up. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'm your host, Aaron.
Fucking hate it. I love it. It's great.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'm your host, Aaron, and today I'm joined, as always, by Alex.
Hello. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Back for another episode of the Six Pack Podcast.
We are back in the OG set.
Yes.
Out of the shitty
the
study
OG
at my
set
house.
out of, 5 episodes?
Yeah. But it feels good. It's good to be back.
It is. The round table does slap.
The part that doesn't feel good is the fact that I do have to head back down to Gold Coast. It was nice not having to fucking leave my house, but here we are.
I do the editing. He does the driving. Seems like a fair relationship.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Brisbane anyway, so.
Yeah.
Although it took me.
All right, here we go.
To get this. From where I live to where I go to TAFE, it took me 50 minutes to get there. But then from TAFE to here, it took me 40. And it's only like 20, I think it's like 23 Ks from here to TAFE, and then 50 Ks from where I live to TAFE.
Now you understand why it takes me so long to get to and from work and stuff like that. It's not good.
Alright, it's just hot, my air conditioning, my car doesn't work. It's just all shit.
Have you considered using like a little fan? You just drive.
I just open
You
the
don't
window.
drive manual, so it's not a problem. A little fan, just like this.
Well,
or you can hire someone.
Well, why don't you just attach the fan to the car?
Oh, no, I'm not talking electric fan. I'm talking handheld, one of those little fans. That way you get a bit of a workout out of it as well.
I'm not a fan of that. So, how's your week been? Jinx, you owe me a kiss on the lips.
That's for the OnlyFans.
That was cute.
So, how's your week been?
Oh, yeah, alright. Went to TAFE. Did some driving for Uber. That was alright.
What an eventful life you lead.
Yeah. Went up to a place called Mount Tambourine. Me and my girlfriend just got lunch up there.
Did you get some of the fudge? They've got great fudge up in Mount Tambourine.
I remember they just had that fudge called, was it orgasmic fudge? Do you remember that?
No, there was a lot of raunchy fudge. Like, there was, different types of, sexy fudge. I don't know if I really associate fudge as being a sexy
Orgasmic
thing.
food.
Yeah,
I still just remember the orgasmic
strawberries and cream,
fudge.
I fuck with that, but, smearing fudge on each other, I don't know about that.
I don't think that's where they were going with it, to be honest.
Well, that's...
I just remember the orgasmic fudge. I don't even really like fudge.
Anyway, anything else to contribute about your week? Or is it just about the fudge?
You're the one who brought the fudge up.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mount Tambourine's pretty nice. Would recommend if you're down in the Gold Coast area to go up there. Had a wander around the botanical gardens there. They were pretty cool. Saw a koala. Not at the botanical garden.
Koala.
While I was at golf. I do play golf. I don't know if I should brought that up on the podcast.
You have... Okay, let's do unfolding because it's not the cat.
No. So in the background just then, Alex has a calendar that hangs up on his fridge, and it had fallen down, and he said to me, "Oh, I think the cats must keep pulling the calendar down." However, we have now discovered that it's fallen down of its own accord, haven't we?
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me.
Scared the shit out of my dog. Too.
Yeah, the dog didn't like that either.
The calendar is a Chihuahua calendar. It's got a photo of the Chihuahua on the front of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my week, Yeah, it was all right. Went to Triple J Hottest 100 party on the weekend, which was good.
Oh, because I was driving on Saturday. I was listening to a lot of the Triple J 100. I knew the winner. I knew what the winner was going to be.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I haven't listened to a whole lot of music this year. I don't feel like. I feel like I've
No.
listened to a lot of same stuff.
I wasn't surprised by number 2 either. I would have killed myself if that was third.
Yeah.
That
Well, that
song
was-
is just it's so overplayed on the radio.
Well, like I was. Do you know they make betting out of it? Like I saw it
Yeah.
on TAB because I was like, oh.
That's how I've never actually bet on it because I don't fucking like betting on novelty crap like that. But yeah, I always look before it because bloody Gang of Youths in the Wake of Your Leave was tipped to get third.
Yeah.
And it came 9th. I was
Yeah.
disappointed because I'm a big Gang of Youths fan.
Yeah.
But the commentary on Triple J is so fucking cringe.
Yeah.
But it gave me an idea, is that we should create a song and aim to one day get onto the Triple J Hottest 100.
We're gonna make a song. That's what you gotta do. You gotta like and subscribe so that way Aaron and Alex
Make a
a
song.
song that's gonna make on the Triple J Hottest 100.
That's the goal.
If you don't know what the Triple J Hottest 100 is because you're not from Australia, it's basically like top 100 songs
Yeah, that are played on Triple
that have
J.
been played on Triple J.
So we have to get played on Triple J and then you can vote for us.
Correct. So, yeah.
Well,
Like and subscribe so we can make a song. So
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Anyway,
How was
my
your
week.
party?
It was good. Yeah, so we went to a friend's place. Usually I host the Hottest 100 parties. I've done a few years in a row now. But I don't have the space for it in my new
No.
place. Hope to get it back. We keep this bill going hopefully next year. But,
sick invite.
well, I didn't organise it. Sorry. But went and there was an inflatable pool. We always get an inflatable pool. But this year, I got to admit, they did one up me. They had like a plastic Wahoo slide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so we would drink a lot, having fun, like chilling at the pool or whatever. But there was one game which was really fun. I've never played it before. It was like a relay sort of thing. So what you do is you've got a team of four people in each team. Slide down, and then you've got to scull your drink that's down there, and then you've got to flip it, like flip the cup, and you've got to land the cup. And then as soon as you land it, next person goes down, and basically you just keep going to see who wins.
Okay.
It's good fun. Yeah, so that was cool. Didn't last too long. Probably wrapped up at about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
The Triple J Hottest 100 wrapped up at 7. Funnily
At 7,
enough.
yeah.
So they kicked you out after that.
Yeah, well, no, like to be fair, like the party was kind of dying down. A lot of people left after that
Were
point.
you pretty drunk or were you?
I was moderate. It hit me more after I left.
Did you come home and keep drinking or did you stop?
No, I stopped at that point.
Went to bed?
I did some editing, so maybe.
I guess you'll find out how that looks.
No, like yeah, wrapped up pretty soon after that. But it was good.
Because me and Brie ended up going. Me and Brie went to the pub on Saturday night, and I won $120 on Keno for the first time in ages. Second game.
Second game, that's kind of close to what I did.
I'll have to discuss that on the pod one day about my strategy with the Keno. You probably don't even know what Keno is.
No one wants to hear that.
And more about your Keno thing. That'll be a thing that we talk about on a future episode, though, because I have to devote a whole segment to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was good fun. Enjoyed that. That's kind of it so far. Like, it's going to be, I've got a lot of offsites and stuff this week. So it's going to be a very hectic week, but it'll be fine. It'll be good.
Learning to drive. So the reason I bring this up is because I've been starting to take my girlfriend, or teaching her how to drive. So I actually got her to drive back from Mount Tambourine, back down into the Gold Coast where we live, which was fun.
Down the mountain.
Yeah, down the mountain. So Mount Tambourine, as the name suggests, is up a mountain. There are several different ways to come down the mountain. All of them involve a windy mountain road. However, the way I ended up getting her to drive down would be the worst of them all in terms of steepness and sketchiness. That's a fucking swag pause. You just did this then.
Swag.
Swag.
Haven't heard that in a while.
But the reason I took it down that way is because it's the quietest. So I thought, double-edged sword. But she did pretty well. She can fang it a bit around the corners and shit.
Well,
I've noticed. Yeah. And just in general. I had to remind her a couple of times.
If you're her teacher, then of course
Yeah, I know. I had to remind her a couple of times, though, that she doesn't have demerit points, and if she gets done for speeding, it's game over. God, that is crap.
Unless you do what I did.
Yeah, unless you do what Alex did. Well, you have to kind of get lucky to do what you did too, though.
Yeah.
That it just lines up that way. But yeah, she did pretty well. but reminded me of like when I was learning to drive because I used to take corners way too quick back then too.
I've been a perfect driver.
And I remember the first time I drove up the mountain to Dorrigo. Because we're both from Coffs Harbour, and then at the back of Coffs, you got mountains, obviously.
How many times do we have to mention where we're from?
Did you know that we're from Coffs Harbour?
Oh, God. Perfect pour.
Actually, I ruined all the time.
Drink it.
Oh, that's fun.
No. Continue.
So yeah, I remember the first time I drove up there, I did it like so slowly, and I had so many cars like lining up behind me.
Yeah, and?
Hold up. And I had so many cars like lining up behind me. Yeah. What about when you were learning to drive?
It was good.
You had a couple of incidents.
What do you mean a couple of incidents? Like accidents?
No, was that when you were learning to drive though?
No, I was driving at that
when you're on
point.
your P plates.
No, and to be fair, none of them were my fault. None of them were my fault.
Well, I remember you got rear-ended
Twice.
and then you got your car fixed, and then literally, seriously, within days of getting it
It
fixed.
was within 10 days.
Yeah, you got rear-ended again.
Maybe I'll talk about... Okay, so, yeah, like, my learning to drive was fine. I learned to drive in a manual. My dad taught me how to drive. First lesson I had was in a car park near his work, big open car park. Didn't really have any problems. It was fine. I also lived near an airport, like, an area of the airport that didn't have a lot of people. So I learned to drive in there, so... I don't have any crazy stories from when I learned to drive. It was relatively straightforward for me. I got my license in one go, moved on. But after I got my license, that's when the fun began. So yes, I got rear-ended twice. I used to drive a 2006 Mazda 3 bright blue thing.
Was it
Very
the same
difficult to
spot
miss.
you got
No,
rear-ended?
no. Bright blue Mazda 3, very, very difficult to miss. I think the official colour was winning blue, which is a very bright blue. Anyway, so the first time I got rear-ended was I was leaving school and I got rear-ended by this girl. And what happened was she tried to ping it on me and say it was my fault. It was stupid.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah, so what happened was I was in front, she was behind me. And so I was waiting for a car to go. And then, so I was waiting, and then a car moved, and then I started to, slowly edge forward because there was another car coming behind that car. It was like a T intersection, right? So car one passes, and then there's another car that's coming, so I start edging forward. And for some reason, she decides that after that first car is gone, I don't know if she didn't see the second car or she didn't see me again. Bright blue car, very difficult to miss. She decides to fang it. And she runs up the back of me before we even leave school. And I'm like 6. So we put her off the side or whatever. Her dad then spoke to my dad on the phone. Was like, yeah, we can sort this out. Like, man, I have a friend who's a panel beater. And my dad's like, yeah, get fucked. We're doing this with insurance. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. My car goes to the panel beaters, gets it buffed out. All good, all well and good. Literally less than 10 days later, I get rear-ended again. For a situation that's even look, for that first one, it's human error, right? Like she overjudged or whatever.
Because the second one was at the Orlando Pack Highway.
Correct. So there's this intersection. It's one of the busiest intersections, in Coffs, where we grew up.
I used to drive that intersection multiple times a day, usually.
Yeah. And so with this intersection, a certain part of it, there's 2 lanes to go straight, and then there's a third lane, the far left lane, which is the left-only turn lane.
Actually, I'm gonna have to correct you there, mate. It's there's a left slip lane.
Yeah.
Then a lane to go straight, and then 1 lane to turn right.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, there's 3 lanes.
Mate, I've a bit of a Orlando Street intersection concierge.
I swear it was 2 to go straight.
Nah, it's only 1.
No, you're right.
Mate, I'll go through into that intersection.
Anyway, the other 2 lanes are irrelevant to my story because I was in the far left. So anyway, I'm sitting in this far left lane, and there's 3 or 4 cars in front of me. I was not the first car at the front. I was 3 cars deep, and there was this big, again, 2006 Mazda 3 sedan, not a huge car, not a small car either. There's this lady behind me in a big Prado with a bull bar on it. I was so happy I had my car back. It's looking fantastic. Anyway, the light to go straight goes green, but the light to go left stays red. And again, there's still 4 cars in front of me, and luckily I, left a decent amount in front of me in the nectar. She sees the light go green to go straight, and she's in the left turn lane only with me, and then she fangs it, smacks straight in the back of me. Almost like the exact same Didn't.
Yeah.
It was almost replicated. Again, boom, done. Went back to the same panel.
But she was really good about it, wasn't she?
She was, because I was like, I got out of it, and like I'm not a hostile person, but like if someone like I'm not a hostile person, but if someone like challenges me, I'll challenge back. But she like I just said, "Are you okay?" Like whatever. Like she's obviously running back at me. Her car was fine. She had a fucking bull bar. My car was not. And she was like, yeah, all good. I was like, look, let's just get out of this, because that, like I said, that intersection is really, really busy. Let's get out of this, go park up in the car park, and we can talk about it. So we went up there, like we talked about it, whatever. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is what I said to her. I was like, look, like I'm not mad. Like shit happens, but
This is the second time
I
in 2 weeks.
literally the second time in 2 weeks that this has happened, and both of them are not my fault. And this one, like, it's like there is no shadow of a doubt. This was not my fault.
Well, there's no in Australia. I don't know if every country's like this. I'm gonna assume not. But in Australia, if you rear-end someone, that's it.
That's
There's
it.
no.
It's their fault.
It doesn't matter what happens. No matter what, if you are the one who rear-ends them, you're at fault. There's no way you're getting out of it. There's no way.
Even
out.
if like they slam on their brakes, like they brake check you, it's like you should have left a big enough space.
Yes. Because we had another mate who he ran into the back of someone, and then someone then ran into the back of him, and it was a three car like pile up. So he was at fault for running into the back of the first person, but then the person who ran to the back of him then had to pay for that his damages for the back.
It was just like passing down.
Yeah. So
Might as
like,
well just pay for their room,
Yeah.
to be honest, except for the last guy.
yeah.
But
Because you're meant to keep like the stopping. You're meant to always have enough stopping distance that even if something does go
well,
wrong,
I mean, look
you
at
don't
me.
run the
Like,
back.
I wasn't driving, but I left enough space that when someone hit me, I didn't hit the car in front.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was hilarious. I took it back to the same panel beaters, and they're like, "You're back again?" And I went, "Yep." And I was like, "Was this the quickest that you've ever seen someone come back?" And they're like, "No, we've seen someone been sideswiped as they're coming out of our driveway."
Well, that reminds me of another story. Probably our last little one for this segment. But I remember I was in my mum's SUV and I hit a kangaroo. And so
Yeah,
I
that's right.
went to the smash repairs for that. And then literally within a few weeks of it getting fixed, mum hit a kangaroo. And so then went back to the same smash repairs. Oh, okay, we had to put in all these two insurance claims. Both hitting kangaroo.
Premiums went down after that, man.
Well, we had to fight the insurer for my insurance claim. They weren't going to pay out.
Why? Because you were the driver.
Yeah, because I was driving.
Doesn't matter who was driving. You still hit a fucking kangaroo.
And then mum and dad threatened, like mum and dad had been with them for like 25
And they were
years.
just
And
like,
they're
"We're
like,
gonna leave."
we're leaving and going elsewhere if you don't pay out. And funnily enough, when they said that, they started playing ball.
Yeah.
Owning a pet,
How good are pets?
pretty good. So you have 3 pets.
I do have 3. I've had a lot of.
Four.
I've had a lot
Oh,
of,
really?
including my roommate.
Yeah. Ribo.
No, I've had a fair amount of pets in my life.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I have only ever owned one pet,
Yeah. The dog.
which is my dog. My dog Leia. She's a cavoodle. Lovely
Chilling
dog.
right here on
She's
the
just
floor.
chilling right there. No, she's a lovely dog.
That's when she shits on the
She's
floor.
not the smartest thing, and she has a lot of bowel problems. But
Which is really typical for a cross poodle.
yeah,
Because I sent you that meme on Instagram.
yeah, and apparently it's a thing. Anyway, but yeah, she's the first dog that I've ever owned. So growing up, I had a Labrador. Labrador was awesome. I love that dog. That dog's name was Biggles. And
Where's
then
Biggles now?
in heaven.
What about hell?
No, he was a good dog. He was a good boy.
Yeah.
And then I was dating a girl previously a few years ago, and she had, I don't even know how many Pomeranians she's up to now.
Well, the question also, I think, area you should go to this is at the time you were living in quite a little 2-bedroom apartment.
Well, it's probably no bigger than the one I'm in now.
I think it was smaller than this. But
Anyway. Anyway, so she had Pomeranians. Fucking hate it. One dog named Bear, and the other one was Lily, and the little shits. And Bear would piss himself all the time. Like, he'd be happy to see you, would piss himself. You tell him off for pissing himself, and he piss himself again.
was Bear the one who knocked Lily up?
Yes. Yeah. So then after her and I split up, they had kids. Lily and Bear had little baby Pomeranians. And then so, but I had that during that same relationship had 2 cats as well. And there was a rabbit at one point, but the rabbit unfortunately didn't make it.
The rabbit's name was Bacardi.
The rabbit's name was Bacardi.
Yeah.
And then it unfortunately passed because of a heart attack.
Well, because rabbits are
Very
easily
timid.
spooked, as you know. You may as well tell the story.
Oh, yeah. Well, unfortunately, one of her brother's dogs was over at the same time, and the dog was playing with it, and the rabbit did not find it amusing, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, the rabbit had a heart attack.
I had the very traumatic experience.
I remember that because I wasn't there, but I was coming over that day
Yeah.
because it was when you were at her mum's place. I remember just getting there and you like coming out like the rabbit
Rather
was
the day
dead.
that I
And I'm like, huh?
can't imagine the day that I had.
Yeah, it was like, and I just can't remember you coming out to like warn me that I was going into a volatile situation.
Yeah, like anyway, so yeah, had that. The cats were okay. I didn't mind the cats. The cats were sprung upon me as
Well, I remember not the first cat, but the second. No, I think maybe it was the first cat. Because at the time, it was back. You moved after you finished high school. He moved straight up to Brisbane, whereas I spent one more year in Coffs before I moved up the Gold Coast. And I used to come up to visit every now and again. And I remember I was up visiting, and I remember that you and her like got into an argument, and she just drove off. I remember you and I were just doing our own thing, and she came back with a fucking cat and a cardboard box.
I'm pretty sure we were arguing over a cat. She was like, "I want a cat," and I said, "No, we don't need a cat. We have a cat for two dogs."
I remember the cat was a completely out of a blue thing.
Well, no, it wasn't
couldn't have
completely
been.
out of the blue because she asked me if we could get another cat, and I said no. I don't know if it was at the same time, but
Nah,
before the cat was bought, I said no, you can't get another cat. And so what she did was she bought the cat and said it was a birthday present for me.
Yeah,
Because you were up for my birthday, that's probably what it was.
yeah, maybe. I can't remember. I just
Yeah.
remember the cat coming home.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, anyway, so those pets, I didn't like, the cats were okay. I would never buy a cat, but if they come as part of a package deal, it's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I currently have 2 cats and a dog. The cats are fine, the dog is fine. Like, in terms-
When it just shits on the floor randomly.
yeah. But it prepares for the future. So yeah, like, look, I like pets. I do. I'm definitely a dog man, much more than I'm a cat person. I'd never buy a cat. Would buy a dog. I have bought a dog. But I clearly live with cats. That's not a big problem.
Yeah. Well, I own a cat named Martin. It's pretty good, except when it claws the fly screens.
Well,
That
Grant's
pisses
just
me
a
off.
baby, isn't he?
Yeah, he's less than a year. He's only 8 months. April's birthday. He's got 8 months. He claws the fly screens, and it'd be good if I wanted to wake up at 4 a.m. Every morning, consistently within about a 20-minute period, I've now
Start
noticed
screaming.
he'll meow he'll meow to hell. But now we just ignore him, and then he shuts up after a couple minutes, and I just fall back asleep. So it's all right now. Before, it used to really piss me off though, because he'll want like attention, then you give him attention, and then once it's over, he just bites you. And he also has a bad habit of just biting your feet randomly.
Yeah, the kittens do that.
Yeah. But yeah, he's pretty good. The only thing that pisses me off about him is he's just minced the fly screens. I'm gonna have to fucking replace those. I'm in a rental. That's gonna cost me a pretty penny, I assume. I've thought about you can get the tape. Nah, it's the ones in our room. You can get tape though to cover them up. So I'm thinking of just getting the tape.
I haven't seen the fly screen.
Because another thing that I've minced while in that rental property is the lock on the door. It broke and I tried to pull it apart and fix it, and I've made it a lot worse.
So you're just gonna get a whole new doorknob.
We already done that before our new roommates moved in. And our new roommates have a dog. The dog's
Bindy's
pretty good.
cute.
Bindy's
I
cute.
do like the dog.
The cat and the dog don't get along yet. Martin got her in the nose on their first introduction, and she bled quite a little bit. So it wasn't a great
Well,
start.
like, she just will know not to push her boundaries.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's
She's
just-
only a puppy as well, so it's like we got a kitten and a puppy both. The puppy's got a lot of energy. The puppy this morning was making a sandwich to take with me to TAFE. And like obviously I left the bread a tad too. It was on a plate while I was making it. And I just left the bread a tad too close to the bench, and she just jumped up and took a bite out of my fucking bread. At least it wasn't like while I had the bread sitting there because I was still doing like the other half. At least like I could just get another slice of bread. I would have been really pissed off if I'd made the whole sandwich and then took a bite out of it. At least I was like, oh wow. I thought it was funny.
You're learning now you can't leave food out anyway.
No. But yeah. No, they're pretty good. It's nice having the pets. The cat's good.
Yeah.
Good company.
Yeah. All right. So one thing that Aaron, myself, and like a bunch of our friends do is every year in July, we organise like a trip away. And we've gone to Noosa a few times. We've done Byron Bay.
Don't go to Byron Bay.
Yeah, Byron Bay was a bit overpriced.
Nah, I've been to Byron Bay a couple of times.
Well, I think
it's
we
nice.
made it.
It's a very nice place.
It's very expensive.
It's very expensive, and it's just become this overhyped tourist destination.
Yeah.
It's just been destroyed, essentially. It used to be pretty good, but now that all the backpackers and shit go there, it costs you. I remember I saw a thing online. This is a bit off topic, but someone went to the beach hotel and they got charged $70 for like 3 drinks, for like 2 pints and something else. Fucking
Well,
crazy.
I went out for just a breakfast. Like I went out for breakfast with my girlfriend and we paid $70 for breakfast.
I'd be so pissed.
It was like bacon and eggs, a coffee each, and I think she had like a brekkie burger or something, and that was $70.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another story we're going to be talking about today. There's a lot of things we could pull out of these trips, but the one thing that we're going to focus on today is a story about the Barocca. You must be thinking, Alex, how does a story about Barocca worth including in a podcast? Well,
Should we explain what a Barocca is first, just in case?
just in case people don't know what a Barocca is, it is like a hydrolyte, like vitamin C sort of tablet thing that you put into water, and it makes the water vitamin C, and it helps you feel better after.
So the water, so it's like a Jesus-esque thing where you put the tablet into the water and it all just turns into pure vitamin C.
Correct. Trying to make one of those for wine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it basically it's good for vitamins. It's good, like, refreshing sort of thing to help you get over hangovers, like rehydrates you. And so, like, whenever we go away on a trip, we take either hydrolyte, which is almost a similar thing, or these Barocca.
So actually, now that you bring up hydrolyte, it reminds me of another story of while we were in Byron. Because you remember our mate, he was not feeling very well after a night out. And he had
After
these,
talking himself up that entire trip.
yeah, he had these hydrolytes with him, and he was like he kept making himself hydrolytes
To try and
rehydrate himself.
Out of date, about, was a year and a half?
Yeah, over a year. So we suspect that he potentially also drinking the expired hydrolytes was making himself worse. However, at the time he did also have COVID,
which he didn't know about.
which none of us knew about.
Which I didn't get.
No, only one person caught COVID off him, and there were like 12 of us,
Yeah.
maybe more,
Yeah. I reckon he's lying. I reckon he got COVID after he left.
probably.
He's just being a coward.
I reckon it was probably still the expired hydrolyte.
Anyway, so the story I wanted to tell was our first year we did this was when we were like actually children. It was our Schoolies. So Schoolies is like a big party at the end of year 12 when you graduate and everyone goes away and
It's probably
drinks up.
similar to like spring break, I
Yeah,
guess.
similar to it's the Australian version of spring break. And so we went away and we went to Noosa. It was our first year. And we stayed at this resort and there was 5 people per resort.
Oh, it was 4 to 5 per
4 to
room.
5, that
I
was-
think there were 4 of us in our room. It was
Yeah.
you, your ex, me, and then
No, there was 2 more. There was.
no, you're
Yeah,
right.
there
'cause-
was.
Yeah, there was one on the floor and then another
Yeah,
one.
there was.
Oh, yeah, no, it was.
There was 5. Anyway, so there was this one day that was in the mid-afternoon. Aaron's the type of guy love to drink, but if he has a big night, they kind of said like that's
I
him
don't
done.
back up.
You don't back up. If Aaron has a really big night, that's him done for
That's me
about a
done.
5-day period.
Yeah, I have my one stand. I need a few days to
He has his
recover.
1 cent and then he's done. So anyway, when we went away, he had his 1 cent and then he put himself to bed for about the next.
Well, I
2
remember
days.
my 1 cent. Well, I don't know. My recollection of a lot of things on this trip is hazy at best.
Well, you probably had a few cents. This was when we were a bit younger, so we could
Yeah,
probably.
well, I was only 17 at the time. So,
Yeah,
and I
that's
remember, so I couldn't even go out.
Underage drinking.
I had
stinky.
I had to drink in the room. Like, well, they turned a pretty big blind eye, so I could go to the pool area and drink without questions. But yeah,
But yeah. Anyway, so this one day, Aaron's sleeping, and we have this one friend, and he's a very unique character. He is one of the most. I don't know. He doesn't give a shit. He's unapologetically himself in more ways than you can count. And so there was one time me and two other friends were out in the living room smashing down some beers, and we made a joke, and we said, let's go put our junk on Aaron. Fully meant it as a joke. Didn't actually intend to do it. But anyway, so we go, yeah, that's a brilliant idea, as 18-year-olds do. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. So Aaron, poor man, is sleeping in his bed. No idea what's about to happen to him. So anyway, me and one friend walk up, and like we are completely clothed, whatever. We walk up and we're just like holding our crutch, and we yelling like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And then Aaron wakes up in a state because you were fuming. Aaron was so mad because he didn't know what was going on, and he actually thought.
To this day, do not like getting woken up. I mean, you found out as well when you poured water in my ear. If I lay down, even if it's on a grass strip, concrete, in a bed, I don't care. If I'm like trying to doze off, if someone disturbs me, I am not fucking happy.
No. Especially not when everyone's screaming, let's go put our dicks on Aaron.
Yeah. So I remember, I'll take over this part of the story. I just remember waking up and you and Cody were on top of me. But you two were fully clothed. At least had some clothes on. I can't remember exactly.
We were joking, we had our hands, but we weren't.
And I was pissed off that I'd been woken up. And I remember I looked for something to throw at him. And I looked at the thing behind me, and our other mate,
it's Tuba Barocca.
The one who's a bit, what did you call him? Unapologetically
himself.
He liked to have a Barocca as a hangover cure. So he had a tube of Baroccas on the bedside table, and that to me was the first thing within reach.
He grabbed it, he pegged it.
So I grabbed it and I tried to peg it at them, but I missed.
You missed
and
it.
It hit the ceiling fan.
Rotating.
Sprayed Baroccas everywhere.
Spray Barocca everywhere, sharp, but it genuinely hurt because Barocca hit us in the side of the face and things like that. Anyway, so that's Aaron wakes up and he does that and he's mad about it. And then we turn around to our friend, and our friend is completely fucking naked. He is completely naked and holding his hands over his crotch. And I think he had a pair of sunnies on. I think that was it. He had his hand over his crotch, he had a pair of sunnies on, and he's like, so what? We're not jumping on Aaron, and we're like, nah, man, he's done with that. And then a few days later, to be fair, we probably should have cleaned up the mess.
I refused to touch it anyway because I was still angry.
About it.
But because I guess we were 17 and 18-year-olds, we're not going to clean up. So we just sort of left the Baroccas that had been sprayed around the room everywhere.
And then the Baroccas reacted with the humidity in the water and the air, and then just formed into these bubbled up pieces of crap.
Because we were in a subtropical location in summer, so naturally there's a fair bit of moisture in the air.
Yeah.
And they just reacted and they came embedded.
We had to scrub the
They were
floors.
Embedded in the carpet.
Yeah.
But again, that wasn't my problem because I refused to touch it.
Oh yeah. And we cleaned it up, but it was a good time.
It was fun.
All right. Well, we talk about brews a lot, obviously, when we do our brew review, but it usually consists of a form of beer. Obviously, there are other alcohols in the world.
Are you jacking off under the table?
Oh, I'm patting the dog.
Oh.
That's what you think, anyway.
Is that some kind of weird code word?
I'm gonna go and pat the dog. Oh god.
Well, I mean, they say I'm gonna go see a man about a dog. Is there some kind of variation of it, the masturbation?
I hate that. Anyway. So yeah, obviously we talk about beers a lot. After getting sidetracked there, sorry about that. But what other alcohols do you actually enjoy? Would you drink anything other than beers?
I don't really like spirits, so the only other thing I drink is fucking champers.
You don't like wine.
I don't like.
You don't like reds. You don't like white.
Honestly, I've not really had reds, to be honest. Maybe now I like them more. I just don't ever touch them. My go-tos now are beers, and then once I get sick of beers, I start on the wines. And it's the wines that make me a little bit crazy.
It gets on the bubbly.
I got on the bubbly, but not the good stuff, the cheap shit.
Yeah.
The $7 bottles. Although I don't know what they were giving us at the.
I don't think it was a $7
It
bottle.
wasn't a $7 bottle, but it also probably wasn't anything too high class either, because it was just Great Northerns and shit anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I do enjoy my spirits. I like my dark liquors. I am not a huge tequila fan. I will drink tequila. I will do shots, but I won't choose it as my drink of preference. Vodka, I purely do shots with. Like, you'll very rarely catch me having a fucking vodka red raspberry or
Well, I
something
remember when
like
I
that.
first started drinking, the only thing I drank was vodka orange juice.
Which is just awful, because vodka orange juice just makes you feel like crap.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whenever I had
drink.
vodka orange juice, I always felt like shit.
Yeah,
the
I couldn't
next day.
drink vodka orange juice now, but I didn't like beer. Back when I first started drinking at the wee old age of 16, I didn't like beer because beer is an acquired taste. But then I guess I kept having beers, and then after that, I'm hooked on beer.
Yeah.
Fucking love beer.
Yeah, I'm a dark liquor kind of man. I love my whiskeys, love my bourbons, rum. I don't mind. Rum's probably my vodka equivalent. Like, I'll have a rumbo here and there, you know. But I detest most things sweet. I do not like ciders. Cruisers make me silly, so I steer away from those.
See, I like cruisers. I like all the silly stuff.
No, because I find it too sweet, and I genuinely feel like shit the next day after having all that sugar and all
I mean, it
that.
doesn't make that big of a difference.
I don't like CCs either.
I got too silly on the CCs one night, and I was violently ill the next day, and I can't touch CCs now.
But yeah, I'm obviously a big beer drinker. That's always my first. But then I'll usually go to the rumbos or the
Yeah,
whiskey.
you can only have so many beers.
Especially if you're having like a proper night out of it.
Yeah.
I don't mind
Neither.
cocktails, but cocktails similar ballpark.
Yeah.
Usually too sweet for me.
Cocktails are again a thing that you start touching after you've had a fair few of these bad boys.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of wines, I love my wines. I'm much more a red guy than I am a white. Like, I'm not a huge fan of whites. I'll drink a nice one, but not a huge fan. Reds, Shiraz. That's number one. And then Cab Sav, and then Merlot is probably my third. My Merlot sometimes too bit too watery. But yeah, big red drinker. Not a big white drinker. Do like champers, dessert wines, prosecco. Get a random,
I like Prosecco.
but usually it's
See, for me, champers, that's my holiday drink because like my girlfriend likes it too. So we normally will get bottled, like if we're going to drink together, we'll normally get champers to drink. But champers again is like, it's a drink you drink to get drunk because it's strong as hell.
Yeah.
So like, see, when we went to the corporate box, my mistake was starting on the wines. There was what undid me when we went to the
Well,
state of
because you
origin.
encouraged
It's what
me to get a
undid-
red.
Yeah.
You had it, and you had the champers.
Yeah. It's what undid me when we went to the state of origin. It's what undid me again when we went to that.
Same crew too.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much the exact same people. But like again, I held myself together. It wasn't until after we left that I went
But anyway,
into the
watch
ground.
last week's episode of the podcast to hear more about that event.
Yeah.
Aaron
Very
punched
sort of
me,
talked about it.
Put shortly. So watch last week's episode and you can find out about how Aaron punched his co-host Alex.
Yeah. I'll do it again.
Yeah, but yeah, beer is usually my go-to. What I actually did, I went to this really cool place once in Sydney, and it was like this rooftop spirits bar, and you could order a certain cocktail, and they would give you a glass with the other ingredients, and then they would give you a book. They would gave you a book, and you had to open up the book, and the flask of the actual alcohol was in there.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Where the fuck was that?
I don't know the name of it, but it was like
Newtown?
this, I can't remember.
How do you not remember any of this? Whereabouts in Sydney was it? I want to know. I go to Sydney all the fucking
It was
time.
a little while ago.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my sister. She took me there. I'll figure
Well-
out what it was.
It's probably near where your sister lives.
I don't remember it being that close.
Well, your sister's
It
not
was
that far out there.
it was a secret thing.
Was
Like
it in
you
the
had
CBD?
no, you had to walk up it was like you walked up a set of stairs and there was like a random door, and then you open the door and you open it. It was like this like library like book style theme, and then it's a whole thing.
Sounds pretty neato.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, what brewery are you reviewing today, Aaron?
Hurricane Head Brewing Co.'s
My
lager.
favorite type of head. All right, what brewery are we reviewing today, Aaron?
Hurricane Head Brewing Co.'s lager.
I don't know about you, but that's my favorite type of head.
Hurricane Head.
I don't know, man.
That hurricanes suck, am I right?
So Hurricane Head Brewing Co. So born in the subtropics, brewed in Queensland. Don't really know what that actually means.
Means it's brewed between probably about the New South Wales border to Rockhampton, Gladstone. Probably here.
Queensland.
Well, it says it's in Queensland.
Yeah, but where was it born?
Queensland.
So it is 1.2 cent of drinks, 4.2%, 4.2% alcohol. That's the can. Have a look at it. What's your opinion, Aaron? What do you think?
It's pretty good.
It is actually.
I'd buy it
pretty good.
again. Well, I didn't pay for it, but yeah, no, I'd get it again.
It's actually a very refreshing beer.
Yeah, I've actually never had it nor seen it before.
Oh yeah, neither.
Don't know where it came from.
I have a carton of it now, so I'm glad it was good.
Yeah, but like, get where the fuck did it appear from? But yeah, I honestly would buy this again.
He says he tries not to throw up.
I'm a very gassy boy, Alex. I think we've learnt this from previous episodes.
Correct. But yeah, it's a very clean beer. It's very refreshing lager. It's very light.
Yeah. I probably rate it a 5 out
What's a
of 6.
full? Like it's a full strength.
Yeah, probably 5 out of 6.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I'm probably going to match you. Like, I think I rated last week's Great Northern a 5.1, and I think I'd rate it very similar to that.
Yeah, like I wouldn't pick it out of my, like I wouldn't contend with my top Australian beers.
Yeah.
But
for,
it's still good.
For a lager I've never had before, it's actually quite
This is probably the best not mainstream beer
that
I've
we've
had.
had. Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, definitely would buy it again.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 as well. So bringing it to a total of 10 out of 12.
So that wraps up today's episode of the Six Pack Podcast.
As you can see, we've drunk a 6-pack. That's the point of the podcast. 6-pack podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe the full strength beers in an hour is really taking control of Alex.
Apparently. Thank you for joining us for of the Six Pack Podcast.
Thanks for watching. We reviewed this beer.
Very good. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our channels, and also check out our socials. All of that will be linked below in the description.
Yep.
Yeah, if you like, check out more of our content. We've got quite a bit now spread out across our channels.
Yeah. And Aaron didn't go into detail, but we obviously have our shorts channel, which has got kind of like a conglomeration of all of our channels. We've got our 6-Pack Podcast, which you're obviously a frequent visitor to now, because obviously you're subscribed, got your notifications on, and liking every video. And then we've got our gaming channel as well. And our vlogs. Did I say that already?
No.
I don't think so. And we've got our vlogs.
And then our socials.
And our socials, of course.
We're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter. So
Can they do more?
can they do more?
No.
Well, there are more socials.
Well, there are
so I
more
guess
socials,
technically
so
yes, but we're going to cap it at this level at the moment because it's already quite a few things we've got going on.
Yeah. But put simply, we just want to say thanks for watching this episode. Hopefully you made it the whole way through. There's going to be a video linked at the end of this video for your next personal preference. But please check out our other channels and leave us any feedback in the comments. We want to make this even better and continue to make it for you. So please leave us any feedback. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the episode. We certainly did. We reviewed Hurricane Heads. We love that. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.